Last week, I had a chance to catch up with coaches that are having outstanding seasons in girls basketball. First, I talked to Scott Jester, middle of the week last week. Salem has 2 games to finish up the regular season before they get into the playoffs. Then I had a chance to talk to Lauren French. She's a head coach at Chatham High School. Cavaliers undefeated, and they will be finishing up next week as well before they hit the playoffs. Hear from Scott Jester and Lauren French here on the Sports Buffet podcast. Scott Jester and the Salem Spartans rolling on as we look ahead to regionals, but still a lot to be played. Let me ask you a question. How much has the snow really affected you all in what you've seen in practice or in games with maybe any lethargic effort?
I would say we are probably one of the luckier teams when it came to the snow, that we're a pretty small, compact area with just one high school. So we were able to practice quite a bit more than any team that I've talked to, their coaches around here. So we were very lucky. So we got to practice a lot, and the thing that worried me the most was having 2 weeks off between games, but I think having those practices was really beneficial, because we didn't look like we missed a beat too much when we finally got back to playing on Friday.
It's weird. Most coaches will say their kids want to play as much as they possibly can and maybe don't want to practice as much, but you're kind of in the opposite boat there. You get to practice more, but I don't want to say you're losing games, but you're losing the schedule.
Yeah, we were lucky that when all the snow hit, we only had 5 games left in the regular season.
Okay.
There were teams with like 8 or 10 games left. So, yeah, the first couple of days we came back to practice, I think the kids were excited to get back to practice, and I think it's just they were at the point where they were getting tired of just kind of being stuck in their house, and they were looking for something to do. So that helped.
Do back-to-backs affect girls more than guys, or do you see any difference?
I don't really see a difference, and I think it just depends on the team and how much depth you have. And obviously, if you have less depth, it probably hurts you more. I thought last night we maybe had some tired legs on our shots a little bit. We missed some shots that we usually make. So I think it kind of affects both types of teams.
What went right against Stan River on Friday?
We played really well overall. We shot the ball well from 3, and anytime you could knock down some threes, it just really opens everything up and makes your offense flow a lot better. And I thought we were pretty locked in defensively. We didn't give up but a couple of layups, and I thought we made them work for their shots. And McCauley, their wing player, she's excellent, and she got hers, but I thought we did a good job on kind of shutting down the rest of their supporting cast.
When do you mention the word playoffs?
I don't ever mention it. I'm sure the kids think about it. I haven't really talked about it. I'm kind of boring, cliche. Take it one day at a time. What can we do at practice today? How can we get better at practice today? How can we get ready to play Hidden Valley our next game? So really, our last regular season game is next Thursday against Christiansburg. So after that, that's when I'll start talking about it, because we're lucky enough to where we'll have essentially 2 practices before, we gear up for our first playoff game.
So you don't even look at who you're going to play yet?
Oh, I look. I'm always looking at it and kind of like mentally preparing and watching film on different teams. But I just, I keep that to myself, and me and my staff talk about it, but I try not to talk about it too much with the players.
But do you have to be careful with that Scott Jester doesn't over-prepare or look too far ahead to where somebody could, I don't want to say sneak up on you, but somebody could punch you maybe harder than you think they're going to punch?
Yeah, I guess that's possible. I try to think about just like who's the first team we're going to play in the playoffs, and right now our sub-region's kind of cluttered. So I honestly don't know. So I'm kind of keeping track of the 2 or 3 teams that it could be. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who we end up playing in the first round.
Who has played better for you all in the maybe past week or since we last talked, past couple weeks, individually?
Our point guard, Lexi Hart, she's been excellent. She's really made and getting us into our offense, and she's been excellent defensively. She's really improved defensively. And our sixth man, Anaya Fox, has really stepped up. She's playing well, and she kind of has to guard multiple positions, and sometimes she's guarding the post, sometimes she's guarding the perimeter player, and she's doing well with that and really helping us on the boards too.
Final thing, y'all are having a really good run right now. How much can you enjoy the run, or is that for another day?
I try to enjoy it. Like, we played Blacksburg Monday night, and they wanted to stop at crumble cookies on the way home. So I'm trying to take those moments where I normally might say no and just sort of say, yep, you know what, let's do it. Let's have some kind of team time together. So I'm trying to enjoy it. In terms of during the games, I don't enjoy it at all. But after the fact, I'm sure I'll look back and smile about it.
Coach, appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
All right, thank you.
Chatham girls undefeated, talking to the head coach of Chatham, Lauren French. I think if somebody asked you what's the key to being undefeated, you're going to say great players. Talk about what the key is to you girls being undefeated.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Great players. Players who have came in every single day in the off season as well as in the season, worked really hard. They are focused. They want to win. They have a desire to win, and they come in and they don't just talk about winning. They practice like they want to win, and so I think that is one of the huge keys. They also are very close off of the court. We've done a lot of work to build our team relationship off the court, which I think has 100% reflected on the relationships that have been built on the court. I think they play a lot better together. And I think a lot of that is because of the effort that we've put in off the court to build our team relationship.
Well, and you kind of hit the nail on the head right there. If you practice well, you're probably going to play well, especially if you have an intensity. And, hey, practice is important as to, we're just going to goof off and lollygag. Talk about why practice is important.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. I tell them all the time, the way that you practice is the way that you're going to play. And so they've really bought into that. They come in, they are focused in practice. I mean, I could count on one hand how many times like my varsity girls have had to get on the line this entire season. And because of like not focusing or not giving the effort that I think that they need to give. So they come in every day ready to practice. Not only that, they're asking questions in practice. It's a back and forth dialogue between me and Coach Kenyatta and our players. We're going over plays and they're talking about the defense and what the defense might do and how we need to react to that, or with our defense, what they need to do. So it's not just only that they're putting in the effort like physically, but they're putting in the effort mentally. And so I think that that's been huge for us because, the way that you practice is the way that you're going to play. So I have felt that my girls have been prepared every single game that we've walked into this year.
When you talk about mentality, I think it's really important too when you're undefeated because it shows you don't like to lose. Talk about the mentality of the team in terms of wins and losses.
Yeah, so honestly, I don't like to lose. I hate to lose. And they hate to lose 100%. But these girls, they are actually very hard on themselves. They want to go out every single night and play perfect and not underperform. And so Coach Kenyatta and I actually have had to kind of tell them to loosen up, like it's no pressure. A lot of times when you get, you're going on undefeated season, everybody's like, man, you don't need to finish undefeated. And, it puts a lot of pressure on you. So we've had to really honestly have a lot of sit down conversations about, look, you just go out there and you just play ball. You play relaxed, you play with confidence, and most of all, you have fun. The mistakes, you're going to make mistakes. You got to shake it off. You got to go after the next play. But if you're out there relaxed and playing with confidence and having fun with your teammates, the results are going to come. So we've really had to focus on them not being so hard on themselves, but relaxing and knowing that their game is going to follow behind that if they just go out there and do what they need to do. So I think that's kind of been a barrier that we've had this year and one that we've had to overcome. But they've done very well.
Final question, and we'll talk again down the road. But you guys obviously have been unblemished. You obviously have a great season. Talk about what leadership you guys have had and who you feel like the team's leaders are, if not everyone, maybe.
Yeah, so honestly, at the beginning of the year, of course, we were talking about captains. I have two great seniors, who have really just absolutely come a long way in their 4 years on the court as well as off the court. But at the beginning of the year, when we were talking about captains, honestly, in my mind, I was like, all 7 of y'all are leaders. You know, like I have to pick a captain, and we will have a captain, and we do have a captain, our senior player, Sydney Ward. But all of them, in my mind, are leaders. And so a lot of them, actually, when we were voting for captains, they were like, I think we're all leaders. And so we've really had that mentality where, you know, every single person on this team is a leader. And I think that they've really held to that like the entire year.
Coach, appreciate it. Best of luck, and we'll talk again soon.
Okay, thank you.